So to graph p of x, we want to find the zeros. The zeros are x minus 1 is equal to 0, therefore x equals 1. And x plus 3 equals 0, therefore x equals negative 3. So these are the two zeros, positive 1 and negative 3. So what happens to the number line is it is divided into 3 intervals. So we have 3 intervals. Okay, so now what we want to do is find the sign of p in each of the intervals. So say in this interval, okay, if we want to find the sign of p of x, then we can choose any of these numbers. We could choose -4, -5, -6, -7, so on and so forth. So for convenience, let's use x equals -4. So now we plug in -4 to x, so this becomes -4 minus 1. So that's going to be -1 to the third. So that means negative times negative times negative, which gives us a negative. And then for x plus 3, -4 plus 3 gives us negative, but this time it's to the fourth. So if we have even numbers of negatives, we're multiplying even numbers of negatives, then the result should be positive. But then if we are multiplying odd number of negatives, then the product should be negative. So this is negative times positive. Negative times positive gives us negative. So this is negative here. Or we can do this too. So we can also do negative times negative times negative because there's 3 of them. And then negative times negative times negative times negative. So now we multiply all of these. We have 7 negatives. If we multiply 7 negatives, the result should be negative. Therefore, the graph is below the x-axis. Now, in this section, we can choose -2, -1, or 0. So for convenience, let's use 0. It's easy to deal with 0. So now we will plug in, so erase this, and we will plug in 0 into x in the function p of x. So 0 minus 1 is negative, and that's the third. And 0 plus 3 is equal to positive to the fourth, which is exactly the same as the previous one. So therefore, this is going to be negative. And the function is below the x-axis in this section, or in this interval. Now, for the last interval, we can choose 2, 3, 4, 5, so on and so forth. So for convenience, let's use x equals 2. So now, if we plug in 2 to x, 2 minus 1 gives us positive, and that's going to be positive cubed, which gives us a positive product. And then positive 2 plus 3 is going to be positive to the fourth, which is also going to be positive. So positive times positive gives us positive. So in this interval, the graph is below, no, not below, but above the x-axis. Okay, so now we are almost ready to sketch. We just need to find the y-intercept. So let's find the y-intercept. The y-intercept is p of 0. So P of 0 is equal to 0 minus 1 cubed times 0 plus 3 to the fourth, which is negative 1 cubed times 3 to the fourth. Well, negative 1 times negative 1 times negative 1 is negative 1 times 3 to the fourth, 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. So that's going to be 9 times 9, which is going to give us 81. So we'll have negative 81. So P of 0 equals negative 81. That's our y-intercept. So let's put the y-axis, and it is at 81. So P of 0 is negative 81, so maybe somewhere here. So this is 75, 80, so maybe 81 is somewhere here. So if we sketch the graph, it says here below, in this section is below. So below. Then in this interval, it's also below. So it can't go to the positive territory. It's gonna go back to the negative territory. Stays here. Then it's going to touch, or maybe it's gonna come down first. Maybe like this. And then goes up, and then on its way up, it's gonna touch the y-intercept. And then after 1, it says it's going to be above in this section, above the x-axis. So it's going to cross the x-axis, go to the positive territory, and keep going up because there's no more x-intercept on this side. Now let's check if our graph is correct. I just need to do this. All right, there it is. So we have the same location below, and then above. Now notice here that it did not cross in a straight path, did not cross the x-axis in a straight path. It actually kind of like curved a little bit. So here we notice that 1 is a 0 3 times, so it curved. But here negative 3 is a 0 4 times, and it bounced back here to the negative territory. It did not go to the other side of the x-axis.